Hi, I'm CJ Almberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV. We are down here at the 2025 National Western Stock Show in Denver, Colorado. We got about a week to go. So if you're coming into Denver, definitely come by and see us. We are in the Stadium Hall Level 2, row 1400, booth number 1431. But as you make your way back here, you're not gonna miss us. We've got it all lit up. We got a ton of Cimarrons all lit up, so it's again hard to miss us here at the booth. But today, we're gonna actually walk you through one of our trailers here. This is a 2025 Cimarron Showstar LX. This is an 8-pin air ride. I know we've had quite a few people come through the booth and say, oh, is that a 10-pin? Or where is the 10-pin? And the reason why we have an 8-pin in here is just so we can show you a lot of different trailers. So we went with an 8-pin to fit in as many trailers as we have here in the booth, but we do have some 10-pins up at the lot available, air ride, non-air ride, and then we've got a couple more on order, so we've got some options for you. But this is a great 8-pin air ride setup that we're looking at here. We'll walk you through this. I want to show you some dimensions on how the trailer is laid out first and foremost. Again, it's an 8-pin with a front tack room on this one. It is 22 foot 3 inches on the floor. We're basically a 6-foot front tack room on this one. We're 8 foot wide with it being the LX version, and the standard height of 6'4" on this type of a setup. So again, the LXs are really well equipped trailers, but we really want to walk you through and show you a lot of things. First and foremost, we'll just start right here. I'll get this out of the way. Again, this is an air ride trailer. So we've got two 7,000-pound axles, electric brakes, the 16-inch black wheel with silver, and a 10-ply Goodyear tire on this guy here. But the air ride is such a game changer from the standpoint of actually how this trailer will pull and the ride for our animals. I mean, they are riding on the best system out there on the market. And the other thing too is this air ride system, you know, it's got rubber torsion axles with a shock kit. So if something does happen to our compressor, a line, or a bag, we're not stuck. The old air ride systems, you couldn't move them. Where this system here, it actually sits down just as it is, and then you can get to where you need to and get that, you know, addressed. But when we air it up, it's gonna pick it up about 2.5 inches. So it's actually gonna make these ramps a little bit steeper. So anytime you're loading, unloading, you know, your animals or tack, have it aired down. That way the ramps aren't as steep, so it's an easier transition getting on or off the trailer. But again, talk to a lot of customers out there. I mean, we had a customer sit down just the other day. We're quoting out a new trailer for them, and you know, just immediately asked them, you know, air ride or non-air ride, and they said, we have air ride, we're never going back. And that is the most common thing we hear from customers is they'll never own another trailer without air ride because of how well the ride is for the animals. They're a big investment. We want to protect that investment. You spend a lot of time, a lot of money with them, so let's give them every opportunity to compete at the highest level, and that's what you get with an air ride. So with the LX, you're gonna get your drop-down windows that we have here. We've got the lower air gap with the aluminum slat that does fold down, so this is a lot simpler to flip up and down rather than pull in plexi. There is plexiglass on the inside that I'll show you, and we'll talk about that more, but if you want that air movement down low to these lower animals, you know, smaller projects, that air gap helps out quite a bit. And versus just the plexiglass, with the aluminum slat, you actually get a larger opening as far as air movement goes. This is black sheeted as well, and then you've got the polished extrusion on the side. Your top rail, bottom rail, same thing. We did some extra lights up on the top rail and some load lights on the side as well. Now the rear doors are wraparound. These are independent 50/50s. So what we really like is they've actually made this standard over the last couple of years. This was something we were doing for a while, but the wraparound does. It helps it get to the side of the trailer out of the way. So if you're showing off this trailer, it's not gonna, you know, come off the trailer at a 90-degree angle. We do prefer the wraparound. Somebody pointed this out the other day. They said, hey, what's that lower part of rubber there? Well, on this, I'm gonna show you. We've tried to really take a step back and say, okay, what are some options that we have on horse trailers that have benefits on the livestock side? Or what is on the livestock side that we can bring over to the horse side? So we've really taken a hard look at it. Where on our horse trailers, we normally have a kick mat with this rubber mat down low. Well, with this one being a small animal trailer, we went ahead and did some rubber matting down low, which I'll show you when we get in the stall area too. But when we line and insulate these fully on the sidewalls, you're gonna have that white sheeting. So we're gonna protect that sheeting, but also we're gonna have some projects that aren't gonna be able to rub on there, potentially, you know, get black marks from aluminum, you know, whether it's a white hog, white lamb, you know, a goat, anything like that, that's gonna protect them on the sidewalls. And if you don't do that line and insulate from floor to ceiling, around the windows will be line and insulated, but then down low is that exposed aluminum. So again, it's where you can get a lot of those black marks on our animals from the aluminum itself. 50/50 rear ramps that are gonna match those back doors, 50/50. We've got a couple 16-inch awning lights back here for you, a ton of lights. You will not regret having a lot of lights on these trailers. You will regret not having enough. When you're trying to do things in the dark, it's hard to see. Those you'll be really happy with. In your tail lights as well, they've got a built-in backup light. We were adding that on to quite a few trailers, but now it's a standard feature. So it's actually in this back tail light. In this white little X right here, when we throw that truck in reverse, it's actually gonna light up. You will get to some places where you're unfamiliar, it's dark, you get home at night, you wanna be able to see. Your truck backup lights are basically worthless at this point on the length of this trailer. But in this guy here, you're actually gonna be able to throw that in reverse and it's gonna light up. Then as we go in, same thing. You're gonna have powder coated pins. We went with the white powder coating in here just to kind of match. We didn't want to pick a color and then pick wrong for a customer. So we just figured let's go with white. Again, with all the lighting in here, it really makes the stall area good and bright. But now, once again, we don't have to worry about animals rubbing against these pins, you know, getting those aluminum marks when you're headed to a show. But as we come in, we're gonna have, again, an 8-pin setup. These are the adjustable pins. So they'll go from 50/50 to 60/40. We have everything set at a 50/50 right now. Swapping them over is very easy. I unpin, push it over, lock it into place, 60/40. So again, very easy to operate. Flip over, it's not like you have to pull pins out, move a gate over, line holes up, put pins back in. It's really quick and easy to actually convert it from one size to the other. We got a lot going on in here. So let's just start up at the roof. So first and foremost, you're gonna have the standard insulated roof on every single Cimarron. So if you look in here, we got a bumper pull, we got a big living quarters, we got a show cattle trailer, we've got this trailer. All of them have the exact same roof. This stuff is really durable. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot. It's a 1/2-inch thick reinforced honeycomb design with an R3 thermal value on top. So it'll take substantial hail, and I can walk on the roof and not dent it. More importantly, in my opinion, is it keeps the stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. That makes a big difference in these trailers, especially when we're traveling in the heat. It's gonna be able to keep everybody nice and cool because of that roof. With that, we've got 2-way roof vents. We got one above each pin. So there's 8 of them in here, but there's one directly above each pin. So again, we can manipulate air. If you notice, again, we have the drop windows. That will be a bus window as well. There's windows in the back doors. You've probably already noticed that there's fans hanging in here. The lower air gap, there's the opportunity for you to, you know, move a lot of air and manipulate a lot of air, and you can do that with a lot of these features that you're seeing in here. This is an 18-inch fan. On the roof bow, we went ahead and put an airliner track. That way we can actually move these around if we want. We did multiple outlets in this stall area over here on the driver's side. That way you can plug these fans in. These are actually gonna have to run off of 110, so you're gonna have to be plugged in somewhere. They're not 12 volt, but you can plug these guys in, move them if you want, swap them out for heaters this time of the year. I know it's been cold here in Denver last few days as people are trying to make their way in. But again, you've got that flexibility to have some fans and get some air movement there. Now, if we look over in these pins, you're gonna notice on that lower air gap, there's that plexiglass on the inside. That plexiglass helps seal these guys up, especially with the aluminum fold down slats. It just really, you know, makes it to where we don't lose as much air in these. So like in the winter time, it makes a big difference. Now we can pull that plexiglass out and store it up in the front to create that lower, you know, air movement down there. And if you notice, there's that rubber that I was talking about. So it's down low all the way around. We've actually even rubbered the wheel well. That's one thing that a lot of people say, you know, I get a lot of those marks because of the actual wheel well in there, but now we've actually got it covered. If you notice the back 2 pins, that wheel well is not tapered, and that's just because of where the gates and the pin actually fall. It goes right into line with this. But as we work forward in the trailer, the wheel well tapers up, and then as we get to the front of the wheel wells in here, they're going to taper up here in the corner. So again, what we're trying to do is just trying to, you know, we don't like 90-degree angles. We try to keep everything with somewhat of a radius, and that definitely helps. We're going to have some outlets and lights over here on passenger side as well. We wanted to give you a lot of power in here if you ever want to do anything. You're also going to notice this rod up here. So this is a feeder holder. So if you're mixing up feed and you maybe need to separate somebody, you can walk in here with your, you know, clip it on here, move what you need to, or if somebody's done, you can unclip them from the actual feeder rods that we have here on the center gate and turn around and lock them up there. There's also a couple switches up here right inside the side ramp, and that's because of we have multiple access points into this trailer. Your light switches are at the back. Yes, we can turn on all these exterior lights from back there, but if you're coming right in here or coming through the passenger door, you can actually turn these guys on. So stall area, and then this side of the trailer from right here at these switches. So just gives you a little bit more flexibility there. One of the other things you're going to get is you're going to get an air conditioner. So we went ahead and put a 13.5 BTU air conditioner in here. So, you know, if you're in some real, you know, hot southern states, or you're traveling a lot during the summer, this guy's already got it. So it's already got the air conditioner in here. Again, we will really be able to keep the stall area cooler. I mean, we think about it. Okay, insulated roof, 2-way roof vents, we've got the drops, we have fans, now we have an air conditioner. So again, a lot of air movement throughout this, and try to keep everybody as comfortable and cool as possible in the hot months. When we flip to the bottom of this trailer, as far as the floor, what you're doing is you're actually starting off with the industry's best floor. Now, granted, this comes into play a little bit more on our horse trailers, livestock, you know, the cattle trailers, when we're just dealing with those bigger projects. You know, but what you have is you have 4-inch centers that run across with a V-truss. It's a 12-inch deck that locks in. It's extruded. But with that being said, why not build with a solid foundation? I mean, you do the same thing when you build a house. You want to start it with a trailer and then build up from there, and that's what you have is the industry's best floor. But what you're seeing is worm flooring. So this trailer's already got worm flooring in here. It's a very popular option. You know, we don't like to do mats in these trailers because of all the cutouts for the pins itself. It's hard getting them back in here never to fit correctly the first time they're in there. But with worm, it's unpenetrable, it's permanent, doesn't allow urine to get down to the floor itself. Just throw some shavings in. You don't need to use as much shavings, and you don't have to pull mats. So, you know, I think it also works as a good insulator on the floor itself, especially when we're traveling, you know, really hot months, heat off of the roads itself, or in this instance, like here in Denver, as cold as it's been through this Arctic blast that we got, it's actually going to be a little bit of an insulator on the floor as well. So that part of it's already done. Again, this trailer is very loaded, so there's really not a lot of options after the fact we can do. You can always do things after the fact, but again, it's pretty hard pressed to find anything on this one that it's not missing. These sections of gates can come out too. So for example, coming to Denver, you want to throw a couple lambs, couple goats, couple hogs, and then you say, boy, we're going to bounce a heifer or a steer on. We can take a section of pins out as well. So these are removable. We've actually gone in and hinged. As you came in, you probably noticed the gates on the right-hand side or passenger side are hinged off the sidewall. It just allows, when you're using this as an alleyway, everything just flows and functions so much better when we have these gates off the side rather than coming off the center post as well. So I'll show you as we're headed up through this passenger door, but you're gonna have a side ramp over here on passenger side with a gate over it. So you've got access in, gate over it. So you can actually open up this ramp, have this gate here, still keep everybody in here. The other thing is these gates here, standard is 37 inches tall. These are 31, so a little bit shorter. I know that especially our hog customers really appreciate these lower ones, you know, whether you're reaching over and doing something or grabbing feeders out of that side. Those taller ones, especially for your younger juniors, they're a little bit harder when they're taller, and these are a little bit shorter. There's also gonna be a access door over here on driver's side. Same thing, it's gonna have that gate over it as well, so you can open that guy up. And I want you to notice at the rear of the trailer, access the side, and then this ramp. On the side ramp, we've actually got head pads. So if you're a little bit taller and hit your head, you know, you have to deal with that, but at least you have some pads. Then we have the pass-through door. So you'll be able to walk between the front tack room and that stall area because of that, which is fantastic. When you're mixing up feed or whatever, you know, you need to get somebody ready to go to the ring, you can go between the two. Okay, in here we got a lot going on as well. First and foremost, we'll start at the floor. This is the gray rubber flooring that we have. This has become really popular. This actually started on our livestock trailers. We've now incorporated it over on our horse trailers on how well this stuff holds up. If you pay attention when you're traveling, hotels, just general places where there's a lot of traffic, I've noticed this on a lot of stairs, a lot of flooring. This stuff holds up really well in high traffic areas, and it's sealed at the edge, so you don't have to worry about anything getting underneath here. I just grabbed a cordless vacuum and just vacuum in here, and I mean it did a great job on cleaning it up. Versus the carpet on the floor, it just kind of holds things. I think it holds an odor as well and some stains. You're not going to have that with this gray rubber flooring on this guy here. Then on the walls, we went ahead and put that carpet just to protect items that are going to be up against it and rubbing. But if we notice over here on the driver's side wall, high and low, and then on that partition wall, you're going to have this airliner track. It's the same airliner track you saw for our fans that we had in the stall area, but we put it on the wall here. So you can go online, go to Amazon, buy some different hooks. Cimarron actually builds a holder for 2 additive buckets that will clip in here as well. You can get some other type of hooks, but you can bring some tack in here if you need to, whether it's strap it down, you know, bungee it down, you can. I know a lot of people will do with their feeders. I see them hanging with their carabiners, just getting a lot of the hooks and setting them on this and actually clipping those into place as well. And on this partition wall, you're also going to get 2 sets of the big utility hooks. So these are not your standard bridle hooks that you're going to see on the horse trailers. These are utility hooks. These are a lot bigger. So what's great is big cords and big hoses fit really well on this guy here. The depth off of the wall is great, spacing in between, but these are aluminum powder coated. These guys are good and stout that we're going to have here. But again, additional storage for items in this trailer. Up here on the deck over here to the left, you're going to notice we have a 30 amp breaker package. So I'll show you when we get to the bottom side, but you know, we've got outlets back there. We need to feed in here. We're actually going to have some outlets in here. So if you need to charge up a phone, you know, maybe you need to work on a computer, something like that, you can do that right here and charge that up. Up in the neck, you're also going to notice we've got a lot of lights up there. Again, we did not want to skimp on lights. So you can really see well in here. You can see how much storage is up here in this nose. We did that gray rubber on the deck and then on the drop wall as well with a 4-inch tube that goes across that you can unpin if you want, but it'll hold items up there. That tray over to the right is going to be for that plexiglass I showed you in the stall area inside those fold down slats, so you can figure out, you know, where each piece goes. And a little tip is take out like passenger side, but label them, you know, your first stall, your second stall, your third stall on where they're going to go. Do the same thing on driver's side, so you know where they go and where they store, so when you go to put them back, it's just really quick, you know where each piece goes, not trying to guess. You're going to have a shelf with a clothes rod, so you can put some items up there. Kids can hang their show shirts from in here. Maybe you're traveling with a lot of clothes and you don't want them in the back seat of your truck, you can hang them there. But you know, send the kid to to the front tack room here, change into their show shirt, hop into the stall area, grab their project, and off they go. But again, it's nice to have some storage and some of those type of items in here. Speaking of, you're gonna have an 18-inch boot box here on the deck. So this works really great for a step hopping up into this gooseneck area. A nice little bench for you to sit at, but also storage. So maybe it's tire changing, equipment. Maybe it's just general products that you need to carry for the show itself, and they might kind of bounce around a little bit. You're not going to have that with this boot box. You can actually store them in there. The only reason we with an 18-inch versus the 12 is an 18-inch, if you have one of the larger buckets, it'll actually fit in there if you want to store it in there, versus the 12-inch, which won't allow it because of the framing there. But again, really good front tack room setup. I know on some of our 10 pins, we've actually got some larger tacks. Once again, head pad coming out, fold up step on this door. We also did a combo lock on this guy here. So you don't necessarily have to lock it with a key. You can just lock this guy, punch in the code, and open up this tack door with that. Your LX is gonna have the wraparound style nose, so it's just such a clean and sleek look to it. Again, it's got the polished. You're not gonna treat polished trailers like you would a mill finish aluminum trailer where you acid wash. These guys here, you need to citrus wash them. Never use like a Joy or anything like that, a dish soap, because again, they'll burn them. You can actually go get from an automotive store, a citrus wash for automobiles, or just take it to a truck wash and just say, hey, I want a citrus wash, and it'll brighten this trailer back up. Underneath the gooseneck, couple things. We've got generator brackets over here. This way we can set a portable gen right here underneath the gooseneck area itself. We have a single leg equalizer jack. So it's electric over hydraulic with a manual override. So in emergency situations, you could get it on or off the truck itself. But it's nice to be able to push a button and raise these trailers up and down. Again, especially if you're traveling with younger juniors, they can actually guide you back, get you underneath, right above the ball, and they can actually hit the button and drop it directly on. With that, you're gonna get your aluminum battery box, 12-volt battery, and battery disconnect. The battery disconnect's important because when this trailer gets parked, it has a ton of lights on it. If you want to actually, if something gets left on, last thing you want to do is reach in here, turn this guy to off. It'll kill all power. So it'll shut down those lights so we're not draining the battery. The other thing you're going to get is this red arc charger. This is now standard on Cimarrons with this type of a setup. And the easiest way to explain it is your truck always works as a trickle charger to your battery, but it's really slow going. So if the battery's a little bit low, it's going to be a hard time getting it fully charged up. That's one of the most common things we hear, is just people having power issues when they go to hook up. This guy is going to work as more of like a supercharger. It's a true 3-staging charger. It's also going to protect the battery. It's going to tell us if we have power coming from the truck itself, so we know, a lot of times we might have a customer come in and their interior lights don't work. Well, we always start with the power source and move back, so truck back, and a lot of times it's a fuse. Well, we'll be able to tell if we have power coming from the truck as soon as we plug it in. But that's a great feature that they put on there. Over to the right, as you're looking at it, it's going to be that onboard compressor. So it's really simple to use. It's on, off, lower, raise. You want to clear your lines because condensation can build up, that air can, and that condensation will, has the potential to freeze and maybe do damage to one of the lines. But if you're just diligent about clearing this every time, turning it off, getting it lowered, you'll be just fine. But we've done some how-to videos on how to operate it and shut it down, so we can send you that. And then that plug, I know it's kind of hard to see from right here, but that plug for that 30 amp cord is actually going to be right up here. So again, we can plug that guy in, and then we've got power to all those outlets. You can run those fans, you can run that air conditioner, all that. One of the last things is we're actually going to have an LED light underneath this gooseneck area, because again, your light on the back of your cab's typically blocked by the front, so it's nice to have some light underneath the actual gooseneck area itself. If you need to do something back here, work on the generator, even getting it just plugged in, it's nice to have that right there. So I think that about covers it on this trailer here. We've done some other walkthrough videos here at the show. You know, but we definitely want to invite you to come by and see us. If you're in Denver for the show, definitely come up and see us here at the booth. Again, we've got about a week to go, but definitely come by and see us. You can meet some of the factory reps that are in attendance. You can check out this cool inventory we have. We can talk about building you a trailer. We can talk about what we have available. We do new and used, so we can help you out there. Our sales staff is here. They're fantastic to work with, so definitely come by and see us again here at the Transwest booth at the 2025 National Western Stock Show. So best 16 days in January, so come by and see us.